Where guys think, I've got 10 million things to do, I got to fix this and move on, I got to fix this and move on, and fix this and move on, because I got a whole bunch of other things I got to do. Fix and move on. So when you have two people that solve things in very different ways, you've got to learn a new way to meet up here and connect up here. Okay? So, sabotage number one is when we're focused only on how we're feeling instead of understanding where our partner is coming from. So to solve that, first seek to understand and then be understood. And if you can do that, it works really well. And you can do that. It's just a matter of making a choice and deciding what you want your outcome to be. Now, there's certain people that I've met that are so immature that they'll say, well, I'm not doing any of that. You have no idea what I'm going through. And they're very immature. Okay? They sound like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum. And their life will never get better. Even if they get divorced and go marry someone else, that relationship will end too, badly. Because they're taking their problems with them. They will blame it on their spouse, but then they'll just go and attract more people like that because that's where they're coming from. You attract people that are like you. Okay? So if you find that you keep attracting certain kinds of people into your life, don't focus on what's going on with them. Focus on what might be going on inside of you. We have to learn to take responsibility, have the ability to respond. So, sabotage number one we already talked about. Sabotage number two is what happens inside of you if you get into an argument. So let's say you do get into an argument. How do you handle it? Okay? I'll tell you the number one way that people handle arguments is they go inside and they start feeling sorry for themselves. Instead of remaining calm and understanding what's really going on and focused on the outcome they want, they start taking it personal. They go inside and they start feeling attacked, and they either start feeling sorry for themselves, or they start defending themselves, or they start attacking back. And as soon as you start attacking back, you've lost. As soon as you start defending yourself, you've lost. And as soon as you start feeling sorry for yourself, you have lost. Instead, we go inside and we understand what they're trying to accomplish, what they really need. Maybe they're blowing off steam right now. Maybe they're upset about something else that happened and you're the one in their life that they come to because they feel safest with you. And you might be thinking, oh, lucky me. Okay? But in a way, it is lucky you because they love you and they trust you enough to be vulnerable, to be totally reckless. You know, I've met couples that say they treat perfect strangers nicer than they treat me. And it's because they become very comfortable with you. Now, of course, we need to come back to being respectful again. And that means having some rules of communication. Because when you do have two different people and two different personality types, you've got to have some rules of engagement. You've got to have some guidelines so that if you guys start to butt heads, you're able to take a break for a couple of minutes. Or you're able to say, all right, what is the outcome that we want right now? What's most important to us? Or you begin to say, all right, what is it that you want from me? So that we can start to understand our partner and figure out what it is they're really looking for and how can we give that to them in a way that's going to make them feel like they're getting what they want. Okay? So make sure in your mind you're asking yourself the right question. It's all about asking the right questions. If you ask questions that start with why, you're dead in the water and so is your relationship. Why are they so mean to me? Why don't we ever get along? Why are we always fighting? Why are we always arguing? That constantly puts you back here again. Focus on your past. Instead of, what is it that they really want? Where do we want to end up 20 minutes from now? Okay? How can I show this person that I care about them? When you start asking questions that start with how, and what, and where, and when, these are empowering questions that cause you to move in an entirely different direction. So ask better questions in your mind when you're going through this, and a lot of times you won't even have the argument. You'll go right around it because everybody's actually getting what they really need, and your relationship will feel like a safe place where you go and fill up from each other instead of going and trying to make withdrawals from an empty bank account where you're just going in and bouncing checks all the time. So think about how you can make deposits into your relationship. The third sabotage is that we don't make deposits into our relationship because we get tired and we take our partners for granted and we just do everything else instead of actively making deposits into our relationship. instead of actively doing kind things for our partner. When was the last time you just gave your partner a compliment? When was the last time you stopped at the store and bought a flower? Or you made dinner for them, or you did something really nice and kind and thoughtful that was totally random, that they appreciate. And know that this is something that they really want. Because one of the traps that happens, especially with guys, is we think we know what our wives want, so we'll do all these things. We'll clean the garage, we'll take the garbage out, we'll do the dishes, we'll do all kinds of different things, and then we'll feel like, man, I do everything for you, and you're never happy. And then the wives will look at us and say, that's not what I want. And then we'll be like, what? I've worked my ass off for you, trying to do things to show you my love, because that's what guys do. We're task-oriented. We want to accomplish the goals. We know you took the garbage out, you know the garbage is out. We've accomplished the goal, we've conquered it for our princess. Okay? We've saved the princess by slaying the dragon garbage bag. And that's really, in a way, how guys think. And then women go, but that's not what I wanted, though. I want to feel validated from you. And we go, what? And then we start to get into this sabotage and all the things that I've been talking about here. Instead, find out what your wife would really want. And wives, do that for your husbands. And vice versa. Okay, so, and how do you do that? Questions. While you're getting along, not while you're fighting, but while you're getting along, say, what are some things that I could do that would make you feel so happy? What's something that I could do where you would just love? Or what's your favorite movie, food, flower, music, place? What's something that you would love to do that you haven't done for a while? What was something I used to do when we first met each other that really made you, happy or like me? Not only are you putting your partner in a good mood because you're taking them to a place like that, which makes them remember those memories and feel good, you're redirecting how they feel, but you're getting good information that you can write down and have a little journal, and then someday, a little bit later, show up with some of those things. It's fun, it's exciting, it's romantic, it brings the passion back, because it makes you feel like you're doing something, you're making a deposit, and it's fun, it's enjoyable. Okay? And so when you do these things, it gets your partner thinking about this. And then you think about the same thing. What are some things that I would like? What are some things that are fun for me and enjoyable for me? And you start to put that out there too, so that everybody's making deposits. Now I know most of the time we're all tired, we're all running around. As we talked about, America is a very performance-based society. So we're always having to do 10 million things. We're always exhausted because we have all this stuff to do all the time. But that's not going to give you a happy life. That just makes you tired. Multitasking is for lazy people. What? I get 10 million things done. Yes, you do, as you go sideways. And I'm a great multitasker. I used to do 50 things at once, but I would always move sideways. People that are really effective take one or two things that are really important, and laser vision go on that. They take charge of that. So they're getting all the most important things done instead of all these other things that aren't that important. For 20 years of working with people and helping people achieve their goals, it is very clear that we will sacrifice our own happiness to do stupid stuff. We will put our own health in jeopardy so that we can get an extra load of dishes done. We will do an extra load of laundry or check our email one more time instead of doing something that's really good for us, because we don't live our lives where we're the captain of our destiny, where we're charting a course, where we're moving towards a mission that we want. We get distracted and put out fires all day long. We're not being creative and taking charge. We're being directed and driven by our circumstances and the situations of the day. So we are puppets in our own life instead of being the puppet master. And so as you learn to take charge in this way, it begins to transform not only your relationships, but every other part of your life, which makes you happier. And then you bring that joy and happiness into your relationship, or you have the patience and the peace inside to be able to be there and be patient and loving and be connected with your spouse when they're not in a good space.